Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Just Asking for a Friend. This is the show you know by now where we go out into the collecting community. We meet content creators, collectors, sculptors, artists, people all throughout the collecting industry. And today, it is the rare occasion when Vader rarely gets to meet his arch nemesis, you see. This man is a fairly new collector, to the collecting game, but he is an advocate of the light side of the Force. A Star Wars fan since day one, but however, he supports the one known as Obi-Wan Kenobi. He is the one, the only. No, I love this guy. Korrey Blount, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Welcome to the show.
What's up? Oh, hello there.
The circle is now complete. When last we met, it was the learner. Now I am the master.
Man, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, bro. I was shocked when you asked, man. I'm like, all these people that went before me, man. It's like, what can I bring to the table? But
man, everybody says that. Everybody, I always tell people that everyone's interested in their own way. You know what I mean? Plus, we used to do Order 69 and everything, and talk Star Wars, and But it's good to see you, bro.
Yeah, it's good to see you. It's been a minute.
Been growing.
Yes, it has. I'm beginning to understand when y'all used to tell me about space.
Yes.
And how precious it is. Yes, now I'm all about trying to fully utilize it. So.
Yeah, you ain't ready to break down the walls yet, are you?
No, not yet. But I tell you one thing, something gonna have to give because I still got stuff coming.
I hear you, man. Well, you by now, you've watched a few of these. You know how the story goes. I like to start out with where you grew up and everything, and how you got it. I mean, clearly, we're gonna get into Star Wars, but like, any introduction to pop culture, even if it precedes Star Wars, tell us about that. But start off with where you grew up, and did it have any influence on pop culture? How you get it?
Okay, well, yeah. Was born on Andrews Air Force Base. Dad was in the Navy, so yeah. Mom decided to have me on base, so shout out to Mom. Yeah, but we grew up in Suitland.
Okay.
So that's where I grew up. Suitland, Maryland. Yeah, my bad. Suitland, Maryland. Okay. Yeah. And the earlier years, though, it was pretty much like I just remember, everything being normal. I had cars, Hot Wheels, Tonka trucks, airplanes, helicopters. I mean, just regular stuff. And then when that movie came out in '77, bruh, it changed everything.
So you saw A New Hope in the movies?
Yeah, I saw A New Hope in the movies. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I understood the movie because fully because I was only 5. But I actually did see it. And I just remember like little things. I remember the thing that blew me away off the break was the Tantive 4 and the Star Destroyer. The way it just came on. I'm just like, oh my God, like, but I'm sitting there watching and stuff. And earlier on, keep in mind I'm 5. What people consider was a slow part, I was gravitating to like R2 and C-3PO going through the desert and having, going back and forth, and things of that nature. So it appealed to me a whole lot, but once I saw, Luke and Obi-Wan turn the lightsaber on, man, that was it. That was it, man. Match made in heaven after that. So.
But I remember you also told me that your third favorite character, which I found interesting in all the Star Wars, is the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. The Millennium Falcon was definitely like huge in my world. When the movie came out, I became one-dimensional, and all I wanted to do was get action figures. That's all I was about. Then one Saturday, I can't remember which one. One Saturday, I'm watching cartoons like I normally would, and I don't know if you remember the Kenner commercials that used to come on.
Oh yeah,
they showed the Millennium Falcon, so I had to have it, Thor. So I don't know how long after I saw the commercial, but on Sundays, my dad used to get the the newspaper, and in the newspaper they had the different department stores and the sales they had. Know if you remember Zare?
I do remember Zare. Yeah,
okay.
Used to be one right down the street from where I am right now.
Okay, yeah, we had one not too far from where we were, and I remember seeing that paper, and Zare always had their toys in the back. It was like the last page or whatever. I remember getting a pair of scissors and cutting the Falcon out. They had a still shot of the Falcon for like $29, and I remember like, oh, I gotta show this to my mom. So I cut it up and I'm showing it to my mom. I'm like, Mom, this is the Falcon, and love this ship, and you know, I want you to get it for me. Can you get it for me and stuff? And even at 5 or 6, whenever I got it, I knew $29 was different than $2 and $3 action figures. So I knew I was asking a lot. Yeah. But eventually, I wore it out, and she got it for me. And bruh, I did not sleep well that night, bruh. I didn't want to go to bed, first of all, and then secondly, I remember waking up and actually checking to see if it was still where I left it. Oh, wow. Making sure nobody took it out the room. I was in love with the Falcon, man.
So did you get the A New Hope version, or you had the Empire version? Or you got the...
I don't know, because I think I didn't get it when I was 5. I think I got it when I was like 6 or 7. It was like a year or two maybe later after.
That was probably New Hope still.
So I'm thinking it was, and I just remember Kenner. When that, because
Kenner, they all Kenner. Yeah, they all
blue
Kenner.
And white. No, I just remember the blue and white logo. So that's what I knew. I don't even know if I could even say Kenner. I might have been calling it Kenny or Kenneth for real. I just wanted. I knew they made Star Wars. Right. So,
but I remember having an X-wing. I think my mom got me an X-wing, and then something happened. But I did have I had an Empire Falcon.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it for Christmas one year and everything. I always wanted the AT-AT, but I never got one.
Those were. I had a few friends that had those, and I never really wanted one, but those things were huge.
They were big. They were big.
They definitely were, but I was fortunate enough. My mom, got me an X-wing as well, and I got a Y-wing.
Oh wow! I never had one of those.
Yeah, that ship is pretty cool, and now the land speeder.
Okay. So I had the snow speeder. I did have a snow speeder.
Okay, I think I had a snow speeder too. I forgot about that. Yeah, because you could put two action figures in there.
Right, and I thought that was cool because it had a little harpoon on the back. You could shoot the little string or whatever. But one thing I always wanted, but I never got, because clearly, me being a Vader guy, I always wanted that case that looked like Vader. You can keep the figures in.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I always wanted one of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would see them. I would definitely see them, and I think they might have advertised them on some of the boxes or whatever too. But yeah, I never had one. I think I kept mine in like a shoebox, like all of my action figures and the little pistols and stuff that they came with. And, I just kept them in the shoebox. So,
am I tripping, or did they have one that looked like C-3PO too, or no? Like, I think they had one.
I just remember the Vader one.
I remember, but I don't know. For some reason, I remember one that looked like C-3, but maybe I'm crazy. Anyway, so throughout all 3 movies. I mean, before we get too far, because I want to get to Kenobi for a second. Did you get like figures throughout all 3 movies? Because then eventually you had like say in Empire, you had another thing I always wanted was that double the Cloud City fighters with the 2 you know what I'm talking about? I always wanted one. I never got one of those either.
Though I'm gonna sound like a rich kid, let me just put it out there first. My parents did not have money like that, but I was very fortunate to where they took me to the Star Wars aisle. My father would, and I got a few things, and my sister, she went to the Barbie, or the pink aisle is what I used to call it when I was little. She went to the pink aisle and did her thing there. But I was fortunate because I just remembered that the ship in Cloud City, I had that too. Right. Because it didn't really do anything, and I don't even think it had batteries or anything in it. It just, it was just something just to.
It looked cool. That's why I wanted.
That's what I like. It looked cool to me. So but yeah, no, I actually had action figures. I got action figures throughout the movies. What's funny about Luke is I didn't get the original Luke. I didn't, and but my second favorite Luke is his outfit in the award ceremony on Yavin.
With the coat and everything.
Yeah, because
in the middle,
that he reminded me so much of Han. You know, he had his lightsaber, he had his blaster, you know, and then I just like that yellow jacket that he had on too, you know, because it kind of had that Han Bespin look to it. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I do. It's funny you say that because I've always said, and people I never hear people talk about it, that going to Empire, you can kind of tell that he'd been hanging out with Han Solo. Because he had him a DL-44, the pistol and everything, and it's just the way he kind of did stuff. It's like, yeah, Han must have taught him that.
Yeah. Luke. I think Luke was very much influenced by Han. You know, earlier on, you could just tell. I thought it was evident throughout Empire, but you could tell toward the end of Star Wars where he was like, yeah, this dude definitely been hanging around Han. He got the look, the stance, everything, So, but I ended up I never got him as an action figure. I ended up getting the Bespin Luke, the tan outfit, and of course I had him in the X-wing pilot gear. But I would buy with my allowance, when I could, I would buy like a couple of those because I always I would pretend that Luke in the X-wing pilot gear would be Wedge. Sometime, later on down the road or whatever. But I tried to get figures, throughout. I didn't get all of them, but I tried, and I got some bad ones. I had about 3 or 4 stormtroopers. So, and of course, I got Lord Vader too.
Yeah, I was about to ask you.
Yeah. I got Lord Vader too, and and he lost in every, all my little mental shows. He always lost. So
right. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
So first of all, is Kenobi like throughout all of because I know I heard you told me you were a DC fan. Is Kenobi like your favorite character? Like with me, Vader's my favorite character throughout whatever. What I mean? So is for that, is Kenobi like that for you or?
Yeah. He's definitely my favorite. It's basically Kenobi, Luke, Mace Windu, and then the Falcon, and I'm gravitating toward Andor too. I like Cassian. I like Cassian. I want to see how his story continues to play out in the second season. But I liked him in Rogue One, and I like what I saw in season 1. I like the evolution that's happening.
Okay, I'm kind of surprised Yoda not on the list, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, don't see, and that's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I like Yoda. But I don't know. I gravitated to Obi-Wan, and I'm talking about Ben. This is before Ewan. I was telling people that Obi-Wan was nice when he was younger. Nobody believed me. Then you see episode 1 and 2 come out, and then it's like, oh, he can fight when he was younger. But I just gravitated to Ben because he was a teacher. Luke's teacher, and and then I think me and you had this conversation, in the group chat one time where I told him one of the things I appreciated about Obi-Wan was throughout Empire and Return of the Jedi, Vader was always saying, Obi-Wan has taught you well. Obi-Wan has taught you well. And so, watching that over a period of time, I'm like, yeah, Obi-Wan must have been a beast. Now we know that Yoda taught him a lot too on Dagobah, but just seeing, hearing Vader say that, I was just like, man, Ben was a beast, man. It's a beast. Even becoming one with the Force, he's still in Luke's ear, teaching him stuff that he's going to need to know and stuff to become a Jedi. So I just always had, the utmost respect for him. And, of course, when episode 1 came out, I'm just like, that just solidified it, bro. That fight with Maul, whew.
Well, I mean, part of it, for what you said about Vader, part of it is that's part of it is like the Sith mentality. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, but he didn't know that they didn't know that Yoda made it,
Yeah.
And then okay, so you remember Qui-Gon learned how to be a Force ghost, and then he told through the. And then when Kenobi came back, and Yoda said, "I got training for you."
Yeah,
and he said, "Talk to your old master," and so that's what that was. How to survive in the netherworld of the Force. So Sidious and Vader and all, they had no idea that a Force ghost existed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want you to remember a key line in Empire when the Emperor contacted him on the Super Star Destroyer, and he's telling him Obi-Wan can no longer help him. So clearly he didn't know that they could still talk. You know what I mean? But he assumed that Obi-Wan was the one that taught him because they didn't know the Yoda made it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. But I mean, but try to look at this from my mind growing up, though.
Right.
Because I'm explaining to you.
No, just saying that was the explanation.
Yeah. Definitely. What you said. What you said is correct because, like I said, Yoda taught Luke a lot on Dagobah, but during the short time he was there, he taught him a lot because it was the Emperor that felt Luke's presence. Getting stronger and stronger. That's from Yoda being in his ear.
Right.
So I'm sure that was the case, but yeah, man, I tried to keep up with all the toys that was coming out and Empire and Return of the Jedi, but yeah, I had love for Star Wars, Superman, DC, Superman. But the funny thing about me is I found myself liking the characters that weren't as popular. I like, but Superman being the most popular, but I also like Green Lantern. I don't know how popular he was. Hawkman and Aquaman is like my second favorite next to Superman. So
really, so
were
you big on Super Friends back in the day, or
huge on Super Friends? That's what I grew up that, and they all used to have their own cartoons that used to come on. I don't remember where. I just remember watching them. I don't know if they came on Saturday or not, but I just remember watching them over years. Aquaman had his own, and sometimes Hawkman and Green Lantern and the Atom would just pop up on his show or whatever. But I watched all those. Of course, Batman and Superman live action. Christopher Reeve and just all the movies played a huge role as well, but the actual game changer is when my parents got cable. When they got cable, because now, unfortunately we fell back with going to the movies, but I was able to be exposed to a lot of other things because I was so one dimensional with Star Wars. I flirted with G.I. Joe a little bit too. I was a Snake Eyes and Stalker fan. Those are my two dudes right there, Snake Eyes and Stalker.
Yeah, Stalker, to me, Stalker kind of disappeared after like the first season or whatever. Like
they didn't use him as much.
Yeah, they had like a first like group, like it was like a week-long show
my
or
favorite.
Something.
Yep.
Right, yeah, and where they captured Duke and everything. And then next, you didn't really see Stalker no more. I mean, Snake Eyes was going through the whole thing, but
G.I. Joe was just growing. The team was just growing, and I guess Stalker got out of the plans, which is why that one that you're talking about is my favorite one because Stalker and Snake Eyes it was basically Duke, Stalker, Snake Eyes, and Scarlet.
Right.
Lady J. I think Lady J and Flint came on like
they came later.
Yeah, they came later. But I'm talking about that first year was
right.
Particularly those four or whatever. But yeah, man, I dabbled in a lot of stuff, but cable changed the game for me because now, with cable, the parents had the premium channel, so now I could watch stuff like Beastmaster and Crow.
I remember Beastmaster.
Yeah. Clash of the Titans and just all of that stuff, man. I would sit home, before it was like when it rained and you couldn't go outside and play football or basketball with your boys and stuff. Like cable was like, hold my beer. Like basically.
I can one up you before. I didn't get cable till later on.
Okay.
But my godbrother had Super TV. I don't know if you remember Super TV.
Yeah. I remember Super TV.
It was one channel, and it was this big box. You just hit the button, and just whatever came on, came on. You know what I mean? They just showed.
Lucky you.
No, it wasn't me. I had to go to my grandma's house.
Your boy. Okay.
But later
Lucky
on, my mother and I we got cable.
Okay.
And, but yeah, I remember back in the 80s, man. That was all you had. And
they showed the same movies, bro. I watched Beastmaster so many times over the years growing up. It was like I grew up with it, man. Like my father would just come in the house, he'd go downstairs, I'd be sitting in his favorite chair, whatever, favorite recliner, and he laughing because Beastmaster's on again. And it didn't matter whether it was HBO or the movie channel, one of them two was showing it. So, I had nothing to complain about my childhood,
Yeah,
nothing whatsoever.
We had the big thing with us was my mother got a Beta, and Friday nights was Arrows night. We go rent all the movies and everything. And I remember, and I was 9 when the Terminator came out, but like I remember specifically my mother renting the Terminator, and all of us sitting there waiting. We was glued, man. We was all and it was just so intense. And again, you're not used to seeing Arnold like that. You're like, man, Arnold is chasing these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the great memory for me. Those Arrow nights.
When you were growing up, Thor, what movies? Like I was mentioning the movies that I remember seeing like on a regular basis. Like what movies did you find yourself always watching all the time to the point where you could just like spit them out verbatim?
Oh, well, besides Star Wars,
right.
Raiders to me, that was, I don't care what nobody say. Raiders has the best action scene I have ever seen in my life. With the truck scene.
Are you talking about when he's getting dragged?
When he's getting dragged and it's a truck full of dudes and he's climbing over, and I'm like, man, that was like one of the most amazing things I ever saw. To that point in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then later on, I say the highway scene in the Matrix that was pretty amazing.
Okay. That
Raiders. Well, I guess this was late on. Predator was huge. Predator is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I say Aliens was a big landmark because I used to didn't like horror movies. Like I don't see, But and then I remember a friend of mine came over when I saw Aliens and Transformers movie in the same day. And I remember a friend, he was like, he said, no, you got to see this. You got to see, man, I don't see no way. He said, no, you got to see. And I remember watching it and I loved it. And then after that, I was good on all that kind of stuff. I mean, I didn't go looking for it, but I, because I saw Predator after that. And it's funny because my mother loves Predator. Every time Predator come out, she ready to go see Predator. You know what I mean? So, and she loves Arnold too. So
yeah. And I just meant to tell you too. I got to tell you this real quick. You and I have something in common as well. My mom is also she definitely is a big fan of Billy D as well. So when I hear you say that, I'm dying. And I hope she never sees this video because she's gonna probably be trying to chase me around the house because I put that out there. But I know why she went with me to see Empire. It wasn't to spend quality time with her son.
Well, it was funny because Awesome Con just came here to. I mean, by the time this video goes, it'll be long gone. And Billy D came, and I told my mom, I said, "Mom, Billy D in town. What you talking about?" I said, he said Awesome Con. And she had something to do, but she was ready to go. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's too funny.
Anywho, so like Star Wars wise, what you say is your favorite? Is A New Hope your favorite, or?
Yeah, I got to go with New Hope, and like I said, I've seen some of the other people, the great people you've had on your show, and I understand why everybody, for the most part, tends to gravitate towards Empire, but as far as impact and just full appreciation, I would definitely have to say Star Wars. Star Wars is, first of all, I always look at it like it started everything. Without Star Wars, there is no Empire.
That's true.
But Thor, me, I try to be good at heart, and at the end of the day, I want to know that the sun is going to shine tomorrow morning, and that's how A New Hope was for me. Boy becomes man overnight, saves the day, blows up the Death Star, and gets a medal out of it, but not the girl. We didn't want him to get the girl, but
thank goodness.
right. But
that wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, we didn't want him to get the girl. So, but still,
girl. Don't get that girl.
Yeah, don't get that girl. But yeah, you know exactly what I mean, though, man. I it just blew me away when I went to see it, and not taking nothing from Empire Strikes Back or even Return of the Jedi. Although in my rankings, after Empire, Revenge of the Sith is next. So
that's my second favorite. Is Empire, Revenge of the Sith, and Rogue One. Those are my three favorites.
Yeah, I love Revenge of the Sith. I might have gone to see that. I took my son with me. I might have gone to see that well over 10 times. I remember putting money aside for that. But we did see it. We took advantage of the matinee prices, but
you saw that 10 times in the movie?
Revenge of the Sith, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought let me break it down to you as far as what a typical day was for me when the prequels came out. Okay, episode 1, I had a supervisor at the time that was big on Star Wars as well, so he would take the whole branch out. I mean, not the whole branch, but the people that are under him. We make sure our work get done, and then we use leave, and we would go to a movie theater to watch it. So
I need your boss.
He's gone now. I still be crying, but I got a good one now. But he would take me, take me to go see it. And so after I saw it with him, I would watch it again one more time before the wife got off, and then we would go and watch it as a family. So I've seen it 3 times already in one day, Wow. And episode 1 is I mean, I like episode 1, and like I said, the fight at the end was fabulous. But I mean, I was just so happy to have Star Wars content on the silver screen, bro. Like I same thing with Force Awakens, man. I know I saw that well over 10 times.
Really?
Yeah. The Falcon.
Okay.
Even though Rey was flying it,
it just didn't feel that part really didn't like. That's one thing I really didn't like with those 3 movies, that people were kind of like just passing the Falcon around like a cigarette.
Yeah,
and it was like I was like, yeah, this just don't. I mean, Chewie was there the whole time, but it just, I was like, yeah, I don't like this. Like, the Falcon. Like, no, come on, don't do that.
Yeah. No, I like Force Awakens, but I was definitely excited to have Star Wars content again, especially since my kids were older, and we would go to the movies together to check it out and stuff. And I enjoyed 2015. We don't want to bring up Last Jedi. We don't want to bring that up, but yeah, 2015 was a great year. So then
you met some Sith Lord in a parking lot, and you start collecting these statues.
Yes. Let me get everybody up to speed. So, God, bro, we call him Solo, but Solo. But Sean Taylor, my man, he's telling me about these statues or whatever, and so I'm like, what is it? And he shows me and stuff like that. He's just telling me. He's told me more than once, and I was like, I'll check them out or whatever, and I checked them out, and like I said, I was this close to getting DC statue. I was about to go down that path, and then when he said they had Star Wars, it was curtains after that. Like I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So he's like, well, I got some people I want you to meet. So. yeah, exactly. and that's when I got my first look at the Sith Lord. The Sith Lord.
I remember that game happened 5 minutes ago.
The man, the myth, the legend, man.
I can't remember what it was. I was selling something to him, and I can't remember what it was now. But it was hilarious because you had this look like this dude is for real. Like this dude ain't.
I mean, me and you in the parking lot, we going back and forth. Like we just going back and forth. It was like Run DMC, man. It was going back and forth, man. So I'm like, oh my god. So that after I had my little chit chat with you, my head was all messed up after that, man. Now I'm like, where do I sign? I'm pretty much like, where do I sign? The corruption is taking place. Where do I sign? So yeah, that was it, man. And you know, after that, I got to look at that Mythos Obi-Wan, and blew my mind.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. I can't say what I paid for it, but I got it. That's
Yeah,
all I'll say.
I mean, it's if you're gonna splurge on one, that's the one to splurge on.
That was the one.
That's you know, I used to own it, but
yes,
it was because I wanted the whole set, you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
wasn't because Kenobi is my dog and I'm like
right. Of course not. Of course not.
I think that one, the producer has that one now, I believe. But and plus I didn't want to. I just started to go one quarter, and I didn't want to have different scales and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like because I sold a Vader too, you know.
Yeah,
and which was definitely one of my all-time favorite pieces.
What is your favorite statue piece that you've ever had or have now or whatever? Because I thought it was Iron Studio Vader, but
it's I have now. I would honestly have to say it's probably Sidious, because I've waited so long to get a Sidious. You know what I mean? And because I remember when I decided to go all Sith Lords, there was only one Sidious, and it was the OG sideshow one where he's sitting in, you know, from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
and he's sitting in the chair. And it was okay, you know. Even then, when it just looked a little dated. Like he had mixed media robe and everything, and it just kind of looked like a hot toy to me, you know. But I was gonna get it because I was the only one. But now, like, you came in the right time. Now we got all these custom groups, and you literally getting all kind of characters, and now vehicles are coming in and everything.
Yeah. And
it's you can literally get anything, you know. Back it wasn't like that when I first started collecting. It wasn't like that. It was Star Wars was very limited. Like it used to be just sideshow. Then XM had just started making, like, Boba Fett came out, and the Vader set, and then they came out with Maul, and then now they really haven't come. They made the Revan and the Malik, but after that they really haven't made too much. But still, you got like 4 custom groups that's like pumping out pieces now, you know. So
I definitely came during the right time, and you know, between Solo in my ear, you in my ear, Bane, Kill in my ear, you know, like I definitely learned a lot, you know, in 2021. I mean, I think I had like 17, you know, POs pretty much, and I think I might have had like 6 statues by March. I got my first statue first week of February. I can't remember the date, but I was addicted. I'm watching old shows. That's how I found out that you and the Punisher, Mr. Punisher, you know, did a review on my boy, and so I'm watching everybody, bro. Like I can't even. I think y'all were throwing names around. Jim Mant, Rad Titan. You know, I'm looking up all these dudes, like, you know. And at first I was like, let me stay in my lane, Star Wars. But you know, I found myself really enjoying hearing people just in general break a statue down and unboxing. You know, and so I watched a ton of unboxings, and when y'all started when I got hip to the show that y'all would do on Fridays, bruh. when COVID was happening, Sean and I, we would get something to eat, carry out, and we would come home and watch Netflix. Right? When I found out about your show, okay, the wife, she's asking me a trillion questions. I'm trying to sit and listen to y'all, and you know, that's when we first got exposed to King David. She's like, man, how big is that Hulk? You know, and I'm like, I don't know. I have no clue. You know, of course, the cool thing about it is, you know, I got to meet him up at Tim's and actually hear the story of how he got the Hulk. So that was definitely cool. But Junior, man, Junior had an unboxing like every other day, man. So, you know, we would come home. If I ain't make dinner, we getting dinner, we sitting and we watching like, what is this dude gonna do today? What is he gonna do? Oh, he's got Admiral Akbar. And she's like, who is that? I'm like, I know who he is, but I don't feel like explaining. But let's just unboxing. Junior like multitasking. This dude is unboxing. He's talking to you, he's thanking everybody, showing them love, and I'm just like, man, this dude is wild, you know. And man, I'm telling you, I definitely came in at the right time. You know, you helped me with getting a custom Anakin. That was cool. Yeah. That was definitely cool, and I appreciate you for that. Like I definitely came in at the right time. I will always be grateful, you know, for the love y'all showed me as far as, you know, who to see, you know, who to pay attention to and all of that. I had a ball, man. I'm still having a ball, but you know, that first 2021, whew, had a blast, right?
No, I mean, make no mistake. Even though you roll with Kenobi and everything,
right?
You know, it's hard to you know, to meet people who generally, like, from day one love Star Wars. You know, that's rare. You know, and everybody doesn't catch the collecting bug. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't get over how much is this stuff. You know what I mean? And but it's I'm imagining, like, when folks come to your house and they see this stuff. Like, it's probably jaws dropping.
Oh my goodness, bro! It's definitely like my father-in-law teases me and tells me that he feels like he should be paying to come in the back room. So that always cracks me up and stuff. But yeah, it's fun watching everybody's reaction. You know, same thing. I haven't been to the Death Star yet, but I was, you know, when I first saw you, you know, in this way, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, and you know, you got me hip, you know, to how to present them and stuff like that, you know, cost-effective way, and I appreciate you for that, and you know, so definitely had a ball, man, definitely had a ball, but yeah, I came in at the right time, and also too, what played a huge part where my kids were grown, so it's just me and the wife now. So we trying to figure each other out anyway. You know, we spent so many times going to ceremonies and football games and you know, stuff like that.
It's your time.
Now everybody's off and have beards and paying taxes and closing down bars now and stuff. So you know, it's just me and the wife now. So you know, that played a huge part in me being able to spoil myself a little bit.
How do your kids feel about your collection?
Oh, they look at me like I'm still running the fever. I mean, you know,
really?
Yeah. DeMarco, I would say DeMarco understands because, you know, he was my Padawan, so you know, I taught him what a Star Wars owl was, you know, and I tried to push him toward that, you know, field as well as you know, as well as other ones. I remember, you know, when he was younger, running to, you know, either Target or Walmart and getting like the cartoon DVDs, the Marvel ones that they were coming out with, and some of the DC ones, and we would sit down and watch that together. And but real quick story about him that always cracks me up. This dude will sit and watch Ugly Gollum and all of the Lord of the Rings, but that moment when Mace is fighting the Emperor and he turns his lightsaber on him and he starts getting deformed, he used to run upstairs when he was younger. Did not like that part.
That scared him, huh?
Did not like that part. But I'm sitting there like, you can watch Gollum for 3 hours, but you can't watch the Emperor turn into the Emperor. So, you know, that used to crack us up because he would watch the scene. They're going back and forth, but the minute he turns that lightsaber, he goes from being sitting on me to slowly start going up the stairs, and he knew, and he's listening out at the top of the step, waiting
for it to be over.
When he hears Mace Windu scream, that's when he runs back down the stairs.
Okay, but hold up. So like, he's deformed the rest of the. So that didn't bother him. It's just the actual lightning and stuff hitting him.
Yeah. For some reason, he just did not know that that's how the Emperor became the Emperor, and that was just his little thing. As far as I know, everybody has their thing. I wasn't a big fan of Empire when Luke went into the cave. You know, I think I was 8 years old. I had trouble sleeping that night after I went to see that because of that scene. So, and then he cuts the head off, and you see.
That's what I'm about to say. Was it more that, or was it just? Probably more that when you see his face in the Vader mask.
Because I'm like, it's Vader, but then it's like, now all of that makes sense to me now. Right. But at 8 years old, I'm just like, oh my goodness. So, but yeah, man,
it's funny, man, because it's like you are literally the opposite of like my journey, because again, I saw Empire first at 4 years old. And I'm in there sitting cheering for Vader, and people literally looking at my mother like, "What is wrong with this child?" You know what I mean? And like, and then at 8, when Vader died, it was literally the end of the world for me. Like that was like life had no meaning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
it took me months to get over that, like months, literal months. Like it was so bad. They literally at school, they had to call my mother's school like, "What is wrong with him?" And it was like, you just got to be. Darth Vader is he's just depressed and everything. Finally, and that was it. Like that really happened.
So the $1 million question, Thor, is in Return of the Jedi. After Luke, burns his body up and he becomes one with the Force, and it's revealed to us at the very end. What were your thoughts, at that time when you first saw it?
Well, when it was some Jedi Force, I was like, man, I said, listen, I don't know who this cat is. This for y'all. Like my dude, they burned my dude on them sticks. You know what I mean?
Even back then, you were savage.
Yeah, bro, I'm trying to tell you, it was. I tell people all the time, I do not care about Anakin. Yeah. I was like, y'all can keep Anakin. I said, when he and people said, what if he in there? I said, no. I said, if he was Darth Vader, like when they said you Darth, I'm like, no, he ain't become Darth Vader till they slapped that suit on there. I said, now we cooking with grease. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then in Revenge of the Sith, when he breathed that first breath, I stood up because we was always sitting in the back, and I stood. I'm holding popcorn. Here's the popcorn, and I said, yes, and that was that's right, Jack.
That is crazy. That's absolutely crazy, man.
So how do you feel besides The Last Jedi and all, like far as this DC since Disney took over? Like how you feel about like the Star Wars content, like Mandalorian and
I was real excited about Mandalorian coming out because I thought that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, I thought that they were on the right path, and that's the one good thing that I think Kennedy. I think that was a good thing that I think she did, bringing them two together, because I think she gets credit for bringing them two together or whatever. Oh yeah. And I definitely think that was helpful from the Mandalorian point of view, because I feel like they complement each other well. But they did lose me on the third season. Second season was my favorite, but third season they just kind of lost me. So now I'm trying to say stay optimistic about Ahsoka. Ahsoka looks good, but I just don't want to.
I ain't getting hyped.
I ain't getting hyped. Though I can't. I can't get hype about it. Like The Last Jedi has scarred me, bruh. It really has scarred me. That was the first time I left the movie theater like, what the heck did I just watch?
Right. Yeah.
And it started. It started from the time Luke threw his lightsaber over his shoulder.
Yeah.
It had its moments and stuff, but I just, that was a terrible time for me. And then, like I said, Mandalorian brought little hope, for me. So I'm. The other thing too is I'm not a big Grogu fan. I especially seeing him, train. I would have much preferred he stayed with Luke and Mando do his thing.
Me too.
And let us see Mando for a little bit. Let us see Mando miss him for a little bit, but continue in his little occupation that that he had or whatever. Just for a little while and bring him back this upcoming season. But I will say that episodes 5 and 6 of Boba Fett were my favorite. One of my favorites that was when Mando came back. He came back
at the end, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think episode 6 was when Luke was training Grogu.
Okay.
Yeah, so those.
Okay, so you're saying season 2 episode like this, the episode when Boba showed up in Mandalorian, not the
no. On the Boba series,
okay,
episode 5 and 6. I'll just go and watch that on Disney Plus. I'll watch those two episodes and then turn the TV off. Because I know that's trife, but
I do the same thing.
I like those two episodes. Now, season 2 of Mandalorian, I could watch it all the way through.
Right.
Or I can do episode. I find myself probably watching the episode with Ahsoka on it the most because I really like that episode. And I just remember being boosted.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I remember. But my favorite by far is when Luke first showed up. Yeah, that. My allergies were bothering me that day. There was a lot of pollen in my house. That day.
I remember watching that, and because I knew something, I had an inkling somebody was going to show up or something. The minute I saw that X-wing, I said, "That's good." Mm-hmm. Just like the minute, and even that same season when Boba showed up.
Yeah,
like when you saw Slave One, I literally sat straight up in my chair. I said, "Oh, this is it."
Yeah,
I said, "We finally gonna see the Boba we've been waiting to see all these years that we ain't never get to see in none of these movies." Yeah, and to me, he was more savage in that one episode than he was in that whole series.
In that whole series, bro.
So
the whole series. So a couple of people have asked me because I'm a Kenobi fan, like if I think they should do a second season. And I'm like,
oh yeah, we got to talk about that. Yeah. So how did you feel about the Kenobi series?
Yeah, I mean that's my man. So I'm gonna always go down with the ship. That's my man. I felt like it could have been done a lot better than what it was. I thought it would be. Yeah, I thought it would be. I thought it could have been done a lot better. I wish that they had the excuse that I hear is that they filmed it during COVID, so everybody was being cautious with that. So a lot of it was filmed, in the I forget the name of that thing that they use or whatever.
I know what you mean.
But you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So they filmed it in there. And see, that's the advantage I feel like that Andor has over Kenobi was because, they were stuck inside. Andor and them, they filmed in different locations. I think you got to do that. I think you got to, mix it up. I think you got to film at locations, and I think you got to film in studios. So,
see, I think that's because Andor, I was struggling to fight off sleep on Andor. Like it was a few episodes. I was like, okay, this is all right, but like I thought it didn't need to be 12 episodes. That's just my opinion. And then like you had the guy with his mother, and then Mon Mothma's marriage is jacked up, and I'm sitting, I'm like, what? And I was like, what is this mess? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then like again. Then I was thinking, okay, so we know this guy dies like soon after this show. This dude gonna. So I'm like, why do we need to get to know this cat? You know what I mean? Well, and that was the problem I was having with it too. But I don't know. I thought it was boring. That was just
see, I loved it. I loved it because it showed us another side of the Empire. Right. And I was appreciating that. I was appreciating the fact that the rebels, hadn't gotten their stuff together and they were still scattered out trying to come together and stuff. And like I said, Cassian is one of my favorite. He got my attention the second he pulled his blast out and shot his informant.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this dude just got information on the Death Star, and he just took him out. Just snuffed him.
And that's another thing. To me, that show, to me, really. Maybe I'm crazy. To me, it's really not about him. It's more about the rebellion, like as a whole. Really,
I believe the episode or the second season is going to be more of that. I think it's even though it's called Andor. I think we're going to see a lot more Mon Mothma and a lot more other characters that we might have seen in Rogue One. Like I think Cassian is the focal point, but I definitely think that they it's a show with everybody in mind. They got to show how the Rebel starts to come together.
Right.
They have to show that, and they have to show how the Empire is getting stronger and stronger.
Right. I going in, I was excited because I knew the ISB, the Imperial, security branch or whatever.
Right.
That was going to be in there. And
what did you think of when they revealed that Cassian and them were working on the Death Star? part they were working on building, I guess where the blast comes out of the radar dish thing. You know what I'm talking about? The very end.
Oh, like by then I had lost consciousness.
Oh, okay.
Back on. But like I tell you this, to me, Skarsgård's character was the most interesting character out of the whole.
Yeah, he's a monster. Yeah.
Like if they made a show about him, I'd probably be a lot more hyped to watch. You know what I mean?
He's a monster. And seeing him with you gotta remind me of Forrest Whitaker's character's name. I can't.
You talking about Saw Gerrera?
Yeah, seeing them go back.
That was tight. Yeah, that was good.
Oh my goodness, bro.
That was good.
That was some straight up dialogue for real.
Yeah. So yeah, I think if they made a show about him, I'd definitely be on board about that. It's just I don't know, man. It lost spare time. I was like, what is like? I don't know, man. It just
But I mean, to answer your question about Kenobi, though, I definitely like Kenobi. I would have liked to seen him talk to Qui-Gon a little earlier, and maybe Qui-Gon could have pointed him in the right direction. And I wanted to ask you this.
Didn't he try to talk to him though? I think at one point he didn't. I thought
he tried to reach. He tried to reach out to Qui-Gon, and
that's what I'm saying. Didn't he try?
Well, he tried to, but Qui-Gon never answered. He said, basically, you weren't ready to see me yet, or whatever. So it wasn't until you got that clarity at the end, because when your favorite part when Vader says, you didn't kill, Anakin.
Oh, yeah.
Your favorite part. Well, as strong as that made you, it also made my character strong too.
Right.
Yeah, because now he could basically let that go.
Oh, let it go.
No, yeah, he let it go. Let it go, man. Let it go. You got to let that go, man.
Because we want to haunt all the nightmares forever. You see, that's the problem. That's what we need. But okay, now one problem I did have was with that. Okay, so like, he's defeated and everything. Now this is me speaking strictly, not as like I got to throw my Vader card out the window.
Right.
You literally know. I don't care if this is your friend or what. If you find out your friend Jeffrey Dahmer one day, you ain't just gonna leave. Oh, I'm sorry, it's messed up, man. You done beat him down. You just gonna split, knowing this dude gonna be still out. At the very least, even if you can't finish him off, you better call some authorities or something to come and get this dude.
So
that's the problem I had.
Thor, that's one of the problems that I had too, because I had a hard time believing that Obi-Wan would not finish him off. I just knew we were going to have like a earthquake or something separate them where they couldn't fight again. Maybe he still gets the best of Darth Vader, but at the same time, something separates them and makes it so they can't fight each other again.
And another problem I had, now this is, I guess, I don't know, you call this Vader bias or whatever. And I'm like, okay, you're seeing this dude snatching ships and stuff out the sky, and he whooped some chick with no lightsaber. And Kenobi been cut off of the Force for 10 years. And then 1 week later, he nice. I was like, this something about this don't make no sense to me. Like, to me, at the very least, it should have just been a stalemate. And I was like, okay. But again, I knew he was going to lose because of what he said in the New Hope.
Yeah.
So exactly. I was like, he had to lose to just because everybody assumed he was talking about Mustafar.
Yeah.
But if you can't, that doesn't hold weight anymore. If he meets him again, so like he had to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no,
I mean I knew it was coming.
Absolutely right. But no, I had a few problems with it, but it was good to see it on Disney Plus. I would have rather seen it in a 2-hour movie.
Right. It was supposed to be, I think, though. I think it was supposed to be a movie. And then Last Jedi, because remember they were doing these anthology films and Rogue One and Solo, but then when people start boycotting Solo because of Last Jedi, it's okay, y'all gonna boycott, y'all don't get no more. So they made
the other problem I had with Disney Plus and the Star Wars series, and I'm sure I probably complained to you about it. The times, bro. What is it with these 30-minute live action shows, man? The live action episodes being 33 and 35 minutes. How, like, I don't understand how, Lord of the Rings, the TV series can be well over 60 minutes. Game of Thrones can be 55 minutes and sometimes 61 minutes. We get to, Andor Kenobi or Mandalorian, and we get 43 minutes. And it's like, come on, man. Like, I can't stand that, man. That irks me that we only get that.
What about these animation shows like Bad Batch and Rebels?
Love Bad Batch. Love Bad Batch. What's the Japanese
Vision.
Yeah, love the first season. I didn't like all of them. I like the serious ones. One thing about me, Thor, too, I came up watching Johnny Quest. People died on Johnny Quest.
They sure did.
You know what I'm saying? They died on Johnny Quest. So so I kind of like my animation stuff kind of serious. I'm not the cutesy type like that.
I'm the same way, because on Visions I could tell right, like I could watch. I said, yeah, I ain't gonna like this one. It'd be some little kitty mess. I fast forward. I need serious. So the first season, that first one that I that one was somebody
tight. Else. Oh, that
one was tight.
I think that was called The Duel. That one was nice. The Ninth Jedi, I think it was called the Ninth Jedi. I think it was. Yeah. And then you remember the other one, The Elder, where the Sith Lord crashes on the planet. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then the Jedi and his Padawan goes down there and investigate. Yeah. Love those.
They had one this season that was good. The thing with the two statues. That one was good too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So some of them, all of them ain't for everybody, but they had them for different, like some for younger folks and some for, But they weren't for everybody,
They definitely were, but I found myself liking the first season more so than the second season. It seemed like they were trying to branch out to more audiences for the second one than the first one, in my opinion. So, but Rebels, Star Wars Rebels.
I'm glad you brought that up because we run out of time. You know the voice actor that did Kenobi in Rebels.
Oh yeah, Steve Stanton.
To talk about
Steven Stanton. Yeah, we got a chance to go out there to LA and meet him and and even break bread with him a little bit and hang out and stuff, man. I tell you one thing, Steven, he's an awesome dude, man. He's a good heart. Got to meet him. Shout out to Steven, Dutch, Miss Kathy, Rick. All those guys out there, they showed us a good time, man. Out there, great people. Steven is my dude, man. He is so talented, man. He's just we're sitting there, eating dinner. He's just ripping off voices and just of course when he did Obi-Wan, I lost my mind because that's kind of.
I remember watching that, and I was like, Slim, that's like. That blew me away. I was when I first heard him do it, and I think he got interviewed on you remember the show Jedi Council? Yes.
Jedi Council with Christian Harloff and them on there. Yeah, they had him on there as a guest, and he pretty much did it. And I lost my mind when he did it again because it's just like, man, this dude sounds just like Sir Alec.
He sure does.
He sounds just like him. But it doesn't even stop there. He can do so many other voices too. So, I kind of follow what he does, and he kind of, let me know, like, projects that he might have that he's allowed to talk about or whatever. And I definitely try to break my neck to support that. Me, Anakin, he hasn't met DeMarco. Yeah, he's talked to him, but he did meet my daughter. And like I said, me and Sean, we were out there hanging out for a little bit, and we had a good time. That dude is my favorite voice actor, definitely. Real good dude, man.
Well, my brother, I'm so glad to have been to help put you on this path of collecting.
Hey, thank you, bro. Thank you for holding my hand. You can insert pause there. But thank you for I had to do it, bro. No, thank you. Thank you for just walking me through it, man. You and the crew. Like I said, it was easier but it definitely was easier because of the time that I actually got into it. But having y'all kind of guide me, man. Particularly you and Solo, man. I love my collection. I don't see me selling. I don't want to say never, but I'm just not a, sell a statue. Like everything that I buy, my plans are to keep it. So I'm a Star Wars fan. I think the only thing that's different now is I'm trying to dabble in other things and different sizes. Now I got, I get a few little, the 1/10 scale Iron Studio Star Wars characters. I think I got Cassian and Luke right now, but there are a few other ones I want to get and want to focus on, pictures and stuff like that, but I'm still in negotiations with the wife about space and stuff. So,
well, I can tell you this before we split, the best place to get lithographs and artwork, eBay.
Okay.
You might to get it framed, you might have to go to Michael's and frame it.
Well, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I want it to look nice, man. I've seen some of these guys. Your man, was it Hyperspace? Is it or Hyperdrive? I think it is. Yeah. I love his spot, Jim Mint spot. Like I watch all of them guys and how they do that. That would be a dream of mine to dedicate a whole room to my statues and pictures and just collection in general. So,
well, I am happy to have been a part of it, and bro, thank you for coming on. And despite all Jedi entanglements,
you know what's bound to happen, man.
I really do love this dude, y'all. So this one of my road dogs.
Always good peoples, man. Thank you for having me, man.
You're welcome, brother. So we will catch all y'all. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We catch y'all next time on Just Asking for a Friend. See you later, everybody.
Later.